This is History Hunter. History Hunter. We take history seriously, seriously fun, making history 3D, in color, connected. And now, here's your host, Craig Gottlieb.
It's not new. It was the second version because there was a picture of the moon landing as they said Craig Gottlieb. And I'm like, wait, I've never been to the moon. So I was like, I better put my picture in there.
Did you take it with your cell phone?
What, the picture or the moon picture?
No, the picture.
I wasn't
the
on,
moon picture.
I wasn't on the moon,
I
Kelly.
know you weren't on the moon.
I got one question for you.
What's that?
Nuclear.
Oh,
Can you say nuclear?
but when I said nuclear, and you were like, "No, it's new." Say it again.
Nuclear.
Okay, but you don't say it like that.
No, I say nuclear.
Yeah,
It sounds like nuclear, but it's not.
Hold on. If it sounds like it, then it is that.
This podcast was brought to you by Nuclear Energy.
Nuclear. I don't even know how to move my. I think we have to get those little. There's a mat that's glass that you can put your chair on and roll around. Have you seen this commercial?
Does it make me taller?
It doesn't make you taller at all, but
Okay.
It won't make you as red though.
Yeah, I do look like a tomato today.
No, not today. We fixed the thing for you, Craig.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Yeah, appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
My moderately pasty and slightly tan self.
People have been going nuts, man. And I told them that I get a chance to be able to spend time with you. Number one, it's so cool to be able to be here with you as my friend. But also, everyone was blown away the last episode that we did where you brought in 4 items. You brought in uranium from Nazi Germany, only 12 of them left in the world. A book from Copernicus, The World is Not the Center of the Universe. Bang, bang. Because I got it wrong the time when I was explaining it the other day. You had the Collier revolver. And then we had a framed picture of Helen Keller that was autographed.
Well, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Okay.
You got 3 new cool things in.
I know you brought them in like a steel briefcase too.
I know. I do have a steel briefcase, but it makes a lot of noise, so it's on the floor right there.
Do you have a handcuff?
No, but here's the steel briefcase right
You
here.
got to see the steel briefcase. It does make a lot of noise.
It's not my steel briefcase, but yeah, it's a good steel briefcase.
This one is cool. So just to preface it too, this the first one as far as the uranium that you brought in. Is there a dollar figure on that? I know you don't like to talk dollar figures, but it helps for people to understand the value of these things. Is there a value on that, or is it just what people would pay?
Well, value is based on what people will pay when you're talking about these things, because you can't go, well, how much do they charge for these at Walmart?
Yeah,
they just don't, So, but the way you really determine the value of something that's like almost one of a kind is by making comparisons. And that means measuring things like how important in history is it, how cool is it, and also what have people paid for it in the past? Because most of these things haven't just been sold once, but they've been sold 2-3 times.
Okay.
And
so
then,
what about the uranium? Has that been sold like something like that?
I think the guy that owns it traded like a $50,000 item for that piece. So, and that was very historically significant. Yeah. So, I mean, a regular cube of uranium is worth, I don't know how much. I haven't shopped for uranium lately, but it's like, $100, $200. It's not the actual item. It's what it was in history.
It's what was it? And then the second one, which was the Book of Copernicus, that was the first edition that we had here.
Yeah, that's $1 million item.
Yeah. I actually looked at it and it was 1.5.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, that's just like, and that's a subjective figure. Could it be 2 million? Could it be $500,000? It's valuable.
Yeah. And then the Collier revolver.
They're they're 50, 75,000.
Okay.
And they're around. You can buy multiples of those. I think of all those artifacts, I think the uranium cube and the Copernicus book were the 2 probably most historically significant. And again, I tell you, I can't wait to show you what I brought today. We got so many cool things.
Well, I think the thing that blew me away though, which was the Helen Keller. Like when we looked at the Helen Keller picture, for me, I've heard stories about her. But to be blind, deaf, and then be able to sign your name, it was unreal.
It makes you sort of tingle. It's like something we take for granted every day. She could do just as well as we could, but she couldn't see and she couldn't hear.
Yeah. And
yet she did that. It's incredible. I mean, human beings can do anything if they set their mind to it, both good or bad.
You really believe that to be true?
I do. I do. Yeah. I meant to bring a book that I wrote a while ago, and it was on was on the SS, the German SS, and I said, one of the most interesting things for me about World War II is that it encapsulates both the very best and the very worst that human nature is capable of. I mean, you see extraordinary heroism and extraordinary cruelty. And one of the questions I always try to ask myself is, when you think about the Nazis in Germany, is you go, how could the Nazis and Hitler get normal people? I mean, these are normal Germans, butchers, bakers, candlestick makers, to start down the road to do these very, very bad things before they had individually become bad men. So it's this profound question. And there's no answer. I mean, there is an answer, there's answers, but it just makes you think. I mean, that's a deep, deep philosophical question.
Do you think it's the same power that, if it was turned for good, would change the world that same way for good? Do you think it's the same exact power, except like Lex Luthor and Superman, same powers, one chose evil, one chose good? Do you think, I mean, is that?
There's a balance, I think. When you look at a really powerful tool, the capability for good is counterbalanced by the capability for evil of that tool. I mean, like, think of nuclear energy. I mean, it does great things, but it can do terrible things. An extraordinary human being can do great things or terrible things. I mean, you're not here to compliment Hitler, but he was an amazing speaker. Had he used that speaking for good, you can imagine what might have been done. But, yeah, it sort of makes you think. That's what I like about history. History makes you think, if you're willing to think about it.
What got you so into history? Like, I've never seen you as excited. You're an excitable guy.
I am.
But when you told me about us coming in tonight, you were like, I got 3 things.
And you have no idea what I've got. It's the greatest. Like, you have no idea.
I don't. And I'm sitting across. I'm looking at notes. They're upside down, so I don't know what they are.
Well, there's a lot of topics. So I have some notes because,
like,
I am a generalist when it comes to history, meaning it's not important to me whether it's August 6th or August 7th or something, or whether it's 1.2 grams or 1.4, but I want to get it right. So I've got some notes because these are 3 deep topics that each one of these items is going to lead us to discuss. So yeah, there's paperwork here, the items are here, and you're looking across to me. You have no idea what these are.
I have no idea. I mean, I would think that there's some sort of judgment that happened, a game show, and a children's book.
Another book. Yeah. What do you want to talk about first?
What's the most exciting for you to talk about? What did you like, Craig? You are one of the most structured guys that I know. Okay. Honestly, I love this about you. And I love our friendship too, because it's like, there's these juxtaposed positions, right? But what's the one that you wanted to start with?
What's the juxtaposed position that I like?
Do you think that we have a juxtaposed position?
No, we have passions about stuff, but
look at our hair.
Yeah. Okay. You have hair. I don't.
But you don't on purpose. Like, you keep it clean.
I got the best haircut 2 days ago that I've ever gotten.
Thank you.
I get this, I call them like drive-by haircuts. You go to visit Kelly. Kelly, you do like 6 haircuts a week, maybe. And I got one of them. Super special.
I appreciate it.
I could not pull off the dreadlocks.
Well, I'm just saying that's a juxtaposed. Like, you're like, even I noticed you were getting in wardrobe before we started the podcast. And you were like, these sleeves are a little bit too tight. And you were making sure that they looked perfect. When you were looking on screen, you were looking in the thirds. Now, that's your training, but I'm saying juxtaposed position. Like, you are very, very structured. In our friendship, it's great because, like, I have structure. I like structure. But a lot of times I move outside of it. And that's what I think is so beautiful about this.
It's interesting. There's the public perception and then there's the reality. By the way, the sleeves were bothering me because I couldn't move my arms. I mean, it's not that I got these huge arms, but I like rolled them up and I like, this really feels uncomfortable. But like, I've got structure. It's because I need structure. Yeah. I can be a mess personally if I'm not careful.
But it's amazing. I've never seen anyone as effective and as structured as you. Like, literally.
Sorry, I'm just getting over the flu.
You and I. Well, thanks for letting me know before we started.
I'm not contagious.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not contagious.
I'm fine, man. I've got super strong antibodies.
That's awesome.
But I've never seen someone as effective as you and as efficient, because we'll literally have a conversation. We're sitting in a studio right now because you and I had a conversation. You said, when you want to move, tell me. And I was like, let's move. And you were like, I swear the lady showed up behind me. She was already in the studio, making sure that things were cool. That's what I'm talking about. I just think that it's so amazing. I think it's cool.
appreciate that.
So based off of that, when you set up your system, which I wish that everyone could see your system that's set up right now across the table from me.
Right.
Which one were you like jumping out of your skin about? Which one do you want to talk about first?
Oh, that's a good question. For different reasons, I want to talk about different things, but we might as well just start on the left.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So, no, we're going to start in the middle.
We're going in the middle?
Yeah, we're going in the middle.
Okay.
There was a poll.
I think can I bring this one up?
Yeah, bring Morris Jepson up.
Okay, Morris Jepson. Was he the single guy?
The single guy, yeah, and standing in front of the Enola Gay.
Okay. So he has a little staff.
I'm going to look over the TV
Yeah,
here.
you can.
Boom. Yeah, no, that's not the guy.
That's
That's
not the
Herman
guy.
Goering.
That's
Spoiler.
not him. Boom. Okay, so
Yeah. We can
let's
talk
see.
about Herman Goering.
No, this guy.
That's Morris Jepson.
That's
Yeah.
Morris Jepson.
Okay, so Morris Jepson, everybody knows about the Enola Gay, right? You know what the Enola Gay was.
Craig, you say this to me all the time, man. You're like,
You're gonna-
everyone knows, and then you name a name, and I'm like, I have no idea.
Okay, the
I'm
Enola.
going to phone a friend.
Okay, you could phone a friend. They're going to know what the Enola Gay was.
Do you want me to call someone right now?
Absolutely, but let's make it quick.
Okay,
right.
Hold on for a second. Let's see who we would call. I have a friend that is.
Everybody who's watching this is going, I can't believe Kelly is calling
I
someone to
can't
ask him
believe that he would do this.
about
But
the Enola Gay.
okay, let's ask. Now, this is a very. I've used this guy before. He's my phone a friend guy, and I hope he answers.
This silence is killing me.
I know. Isn't it great? Please answer.
He knows. I mean, I think you know what the Enola Gay was.
I don't. I
Okay.
saw the picture today when you sent it to
Okay.
me.
Well, this will be a great one. This is a great conversation then. Yeah, let it go to voicemail.
Okay. we'll
Okay,
let it
so
go. Enola Gay. I saw the
backing up,
picture.
the
I saw the
Enola-
picture, and
yeah.
I was like, okay.
the Enola Gay was the plane that dropped the very first nuclear bomb in
Ooh,
world history.
I almost caught you. on
Yeah,
that
you
one.
did really. And it dropped the bomb on Hiroshima
Okay.
in Japan.
Okay.
And the pilot was Paul Tibbets. Everybody who knows about the Enola Gay knows about Paul Tibbets, but they don't know about Morris Jepson.
And this is Morris Jepson.
This is Morris Jepson.
This
yeah.
is where we're looking.
And so Morris Jepson was a young man in his 20s.
Okay.
And he was the weapons officer on the Enola Gay. So August 6th, they take off from Tinian, an island in the Pacific, and their mission, this is weeks after the Trinity test, where they actually dropped or detonated the first nuclear device in world history.
Are you kidding me where we're going with
Well,
this?
you don't know where we're going yet. This is interesting. So
Okay.
just stay tuned. Stay tuned for like the next 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so Paul Tibbets is a young man. Put a pin in that, right? And he's the weapons officer. So there's a bunch of different officers on this plane, and everybody has a different responsibility. They're going to fly several hours. They're going to fly to Japan, and they're going to drop a nuclear bomb for the first time in world history. Okay, so Paul Tibbets is the pilot, but Morris Jepson has one job, and his job is, as soon as the plane reaches altitude, his job as a 20-something-year-old guy is to go down into the bomb bay, okay, and get in front of what's called the little boy bomb, okay? This is the one that they're going to drop on Hiroshima. There's another one they've made that they're going to drop on Nagasaki a few days later. And they didn't know what was going to happen. So they had created a safety mechanism for the little boy bomb. And so in the workings of the bomb, they had some circuits, and they had these plugs in the on the top of the bomb, okay? And they were green. Green means safe. So with these circuits in, the bomb won't work, okay? His job was to go down into the bomb bay, remove the green, called safety plugs, if for lack of a better term. And there's nothing complicated about these plugs. They're just a circuit, okay? And put those in his pocket and pull out 3 red ones and stick them in the bomb. That basically enabled the bomb to work. And then he got out of the bomb bay door and he had some additional duties, but that was his main job, right? And so remember, we put a pin in his age.
Yeah.
This is a young man who was responsible for arming the first nuclear warhead dropped on Japan in the world. And so what he did was, and he had some extras too, because if he dropped one of the red ones, well, if you go to the bomb bay door, he couldn't get it, and then the bomb's not going to go off. So what he did was he took the green ones and he put them in his pocket. And he took the red ones out and plugged him in. And he had an extra red one in case he dropped one. Did his job, went back to the rest of the plane. They flew to Hiroshima. The Japanese sort of knew the plane was coming. There wasn't a lot of resistance. They didn't know it was going to happen. And then 45 seconds later, after they dropped the bomb-ish, it detonated over Hiroshima. And it was the first nuclear bomb weapon to go off. And in seconds, 70,000 people were killed. One bomb. And this is one of the red safety plugs. Excuse me, this is the arming plug. This was his spare arming plug that he never used. This is actually the arming plug that he didn't use. But what's more incredible, see, there's the red one. Here's the green one. This is the only surviving, I want you to hold it.
Let me touch this
Yeah,
one.
touch it.
Hold on. I'm going to hold this like this.
That's the only surviving piece of the little boy bomb in history. The rest of it was incinerated. Okay?
This
is the only piece of the little boy bomb to survive the explosion over Hiroshima, because everything else, it was like 3 million degrees Celsius. I mean, this was like, not sure how hot the sun is, but it's pretty hot.
Oh
and so everything else was gone except this one plug he put in his pocket. Okay? And the bomb went off, and he came back, and he wrote these little tags out because he decided he was going to keep these because they were an important part of world history. And he wrote here, 7th August, 1945. This is the original tag.
That's the original tag.
Morris Jepson wrote. He says, I certify that this is one of the 3 green, or in this other case of this tag, red. He called them safety plug, used on L11. L11 was the name of the bomb. It was the serial number, basically, of the carcass that was used for the bomb at Hiroshima, Japan. This was the first atomic bomb ever used in the history of mankind, signed Morris Jepson.
Holy. And I'm holding the green one that when he took this out, this armed the first nuclear bomb.
Yeah, that's from the bomb. So that's the only surviving piece of that bomb in the world. Everything else was incinerated. Now, the red one was a safety. He kept it. He didn't need it. Now, here's what's interesting about this. Not only is this profound, but he was once asked, he's like, I was the only guy down in that bomb bay, and I knew what I was doing. Had I had some sort of conscious moment, and we can talk about whether this was a good thing or a bad thing, and I'll tell you later, it was a very good thing what he did. He's like, all I would have had to do as one man in my 20s was just pull out the green ones, throw them in the bomb bay, not arm the bomb, throw the red ones in the bomb bay. We would have flown to Japan. And he said this. We would have flown to Japan, we would have dropped the bomb, and it wouldn't have gone off. And world history would be different. Why would world history be different? Number one, we wouldn't have bombed Nagasaki, and then we would have invaded mainland Japan. We had plans to invade the mainland. And guess what? The United States government had casualty expectations in the hundreds of thousands of Allied troops that would die invading Japan, as well as up to 1 million civilian casualties. So by doing what he did, he signed the death warrant for 70,000 people instantly, and there was another 30 to 40, 50 that died as a result of radiation. So about 140,000, they say, died at Hiroshima. And we didn't have to invade Japan. So you talk about another 1 million lives saved. That's men, women, and children, not just combatants. And guess what? 9 days later, the Japanese surrendered. They said, we've had enough. Now, we did bomb a second city, but 9 days after Morris Jepson did this, Japan, who said they would never surrender, gave up.
Wow.
So that's the impact. And there's a thing I have here. It's a great thing. I'll find it and read it to you. The guy who owns this is one of my best friends. He's in his 90s.
Yeah.
And you can look him up on the internet.
I can't wait to meet him.
Oh, his name is Clay Perkins. You can Google him. He bought these fuses at a public auction, and the government tried to stop the auction. Morris Jepson owned these fuses, and he said, I'm going to cash in. I'm going to sell these.
Yeah.
The U.S. government said, nope, this is of a strategic military importance. We want to stop the sale. So the sale went through under duress, but the federal judge that later heard the case after Clay bought these said, you know what, these have no strategic importance. There's no state secret in here. These are basically the equivalent of some glorified spark plugs. Clay, you get to take these home. And the government lost. But this is what was said. In 2000, a large survey voted the bombing of Hiroshima as the most important event in the 20th century. According to historian Stephen Ambrose, the atomic bombing of Hiroshima divided the past from the future as no event since the discovery of fire. It was the climactic event of the war. It commands our attention in a way that nothing else does. It's not so much the killing. As I said, more people were killed. Well, he said more people were killed in Tokyo in one raid in March 1945. More people were killed when the United States bombed Dresden in one raid in February 1945. So it's not the death toll. The thing is the drama. One plane, one bomb, one city. And we did it one more time. And since 1945, it's never happened again.
You almost get emotional. Like, I see you. I wish.
I'm going to drink after that one.
Well, you do. Like, for a person listening, I know that you could hear the passion in your voice, but to sit across from you and to see you, like, you lighting up and you're getting emotional about this. Why do you think that you get as emotional about history as you do?
It's because I think I get it. When I say I get it, when I always think artifacts, say, Craig, why do you buy and sell artifacts of history? It's like, well, I make money, but holding things like this, I like to say, and this is not the first time I've said this, these are like little time machines. They bring you back and they connect you to such important things in the human experience. It sounds like I'm trying to win Miss America, but I'm not. I mean, we can literally sit here and now, holding this in our hands, we can discuss whether the dropping of this bomb and the killing of 70,000 people, and they picked Hiroshima for a reason, by the way. They picked it because it was a flat area. It had not sustained any bomb damage. And then we would be able to tell how successful and how powerful the bomb was by looking at the havoc that it wreaked when it went off. Yeah. Incidentally, it's not there's a guy that I met named Harold Agnew. He used to live in San Diego. He died. He was on the plane. It was called the Great Artiste that flew behind the Enola Gay. And it was the instrument plane that was going to measure everything that was happening. And Harold, he brought a video camera. And you can Google this because the video plane didn't take off from Tinian. He brought a camera, and he is the person who filmed the explosion of the bomb over Hiroshima. So if you look online, you can see some shaky footage that he took. Shaking, he's probably needed to change his diaper, but because they dropped the bomb and then they took off, and they could feel the impact on the plane of the explosive, the concussion, even though they're flying away from the city. So it's just incredible. So you hold something like this, it brings these things forefront into our mind, and we can talk about stuff like this. I mean, what does it make you think of? What question does it make you, Kelly, think of when you start holding this and think about it?
Early 20s kid with the world in his hand.
Absolutely. That is it. You nailed it. How many kids in their 20s today think they have they're not there, but these are kids, and they're making decisions that change the world.
I'm very seldom speechless, man. But when you were talking about like the history part for you and seeing you get emotional, like it really, this has taken me. This is grabbing me.
It should grab you. That's literally the only piece of the little boy bomb to survive the war, because everything else was atomized, turned into vapor, 3 million degrees Celsius, and got the Japanese, who said they'd never surrender, to go, we give up. We're done. No more, please.
Boom.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. So where do we go from there? I think we started with one of the most important things.
Well, you also have a picture. You have a picture that's sitting here Okay, this is this Jepsen?
Yeah, that's and you
Okay.
can put him up there
Yeah, I'm
earlier.
gonna put him up.
That's Jepsen. I mean, look how young he looks.
Wow.
He's a kid.
He is a kid.
He's a kid.
And this, you're holding the picture that's up here, and this is actually autographed. Is this signed by
Yeah,
him?
it's a picture. This is a picture. He survived the war, and
Yeah.
a lot of people got his autograph, and this is the picture he would sign.
Wow.
And Clay became good friends with Morris Jepsen after the war, and you can find
How
him.
old was Morris Jepsen? Like, when did he pass away?
I can't say. I don't
I don't know.
remember, but
Okay.
he is
All
gone.
Okay.
But there are a couple of great videos online if you search deep enough where he's interviewed, because he talks about his experience. And
Really?
he talks about that. He's the one who said, if I decided to do things differently, the world would be different. And it really would be different.
So when Clay ended up purchasing these, he met Jepsen at that time, or did he buy them and then seek him out
I
to?
think he met him at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Excuse me, I got my cough. But yeah, and they became friends.
Yeah.
And Clay's a retired rocket scientist too, really, truly.
Yeah.
And so he really does appreciate this, but he gets it. He gets it like you got it. Remember, I asked you, what is it? And you said, a 20-year-old kid changed the world.
Holy, I mean, to put that on somebody. I mean, at 20 years old, to say you take this out, put this in. Now I can do that. I do this. You tell me to do this. I do that. But the implication of this, I'm just looking at it, and as I'm holding it, I'm thinking, like, literally, this motion here that I'm doing changed the world.
It changed the world.
That's it.
And his decision to follow through with his orders and do what he was told to do. And again, you can look at, I say just following orders. That's what the Nazis tried to say to defend themselves. And his action did lead to the death of 70,000 people instantly. 45 seconds after that the bomb left the Enola Gay, 70,000 people no longer on this planet, and another 70,000-ish died from radiation. But don't forget, we had, and I've got to read this, projected U.S. casualties, 30 to 50,000 in the first 30 days of the invasion, 100,000 over the total invasion. They expected, worst case, 400,000, and they expected about 1 million Japanese deaths. Now, the Japanese weren't, let's put it this way, they told the civilians in other invasions like Okinawa, if you can see videos of Japanese civilians jumping off cliffs to their death because they believed what the Japanese government had told them, which was that Americans were there to rape, pillage, and destroy, and it was better to die by jumping off a cliff than to face the Americans. Totally not true. So, you have to, there's a moral question there. You're weighing, we killed 70,000 and we saved 1 million and we ended the war. Don't have an answer for you.
I don't have an answer.
I don't have an answer to that.
No, I'm so glad that, like, I'm not glad that he did. I'm just saying I'm glad it was him and not me at that time. Like, you can't even fathom.
I'm glad I live in Carlsbad. Actually, I live in Del Mar, but you know what I'm saying? I'm glad we're in Carlsbad and we don't have to deal with these things. And it's sort of the kind of things I want to ask people like this, and this is what we're going to do in future podcasts. I want to talk to people. There's people like this that are still alive, not like him, but I want to talk to these guys and ask them what it's like, because we have no idea. We think our lives matter, and they do. Yeah. They matter to our kids. They matter to our family. But this is a different level. That's a totally different level. Now, had lunch with Clay today, and I showed him something else, which is second. Yeah. And for a guy that owns something like this, his mouth literally dropped open. What I'm about to show you. Number 2. You ready to move on?
I am ready to move on. I mean, but how did, this is why I love hanging with you, man. I mean, it's never a dull moment, and there's always a surprise around the corner. To start out like that, I mean, I'm holding in my hand right now what changed the world. Yeah. How do you follow that up, bro? Well, I can. You want to take a lighter moment in between, or should we go right in? Go for whatever you want. Well, here's a lighter moment. I like etymology, the history of words, okay? And it sort of relates. You ever hear somebody say they bought the farm? You know what that means? I bought the farm. It means you died. So that guy bought the farm. I'm going to adjust my and say it a little bit. I didn't know where that came from until recently. That's a World War II expression. Okay, so in World War II, the U.S. government paid a life benefit to people who died in combat, right? And so if a pilot bought the farm, it meant that he died in combat, he crashed, and by doing so, initiated a payment
from the U.S. government to the family, which is about as much money as they needed to pay off the farm.
So buying the farm.
You bought the farm. You died. But what they really mean is, well, you did what you did. You died, and your family got the money to buy the farm. So when you bought the farm, I mean, it's sort of a little macabre, abracadabra macabre. That's an interesting thing, you know? I learned another one. I'll tell you some more of those.
Yeah.
Prompt
Tell
me,
me
but
another one.
you want another one right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Lunatic. It's a lunatic. Crazy person, right?
Does it have to do with space?
It has to do with the moon. Yeah. So Luna,
Yeah.
moon touched, lunatic. And it goes back to, I think it's Aristotle. Okay. They used to think that because the moon controlled the tides, the moon controlled the brain because the brain is liquidy. Okay. So if you're a lunatic, it means you're sort of crazy because of the moon. Now, it took a couple thousand years to decide that that's not what's really going on. But as late as like the early 1900s, they were still thinking there's some element that's true about the moon and affecting people being crazy. But they finally say, yeah, it's not really. Science happened, you know, and they're like, no, that's not happening. But lunatic, now it's a crazy person. But it used to be a diagnosis. You actually were diagnosed as a lunatic, which was a medical diagnosis. Now it just is a derogatory term for someone who's crazy.
Wow.
But it has its
basis.
backstory a couple thousand years ago.
I think my wife would be interested in this stuff because I always ask her the origin. Like I'm sure you have you have a 14-year-old son.
I do.
Am I correct? And they say stuff that doesn't make any sense. And then I'm always asking the origin of it. So they say like, this guy's got Riz. And I'm like, hold on.
Yeah, what does that mean?
But it actually means charisma. So charisma shortened is Riz. So it makes sense to me. But there are things that they say. And I'm always asking my wife, and she's like, honestly, like, do I look like an encyclopedia? Do I look like Google? I'm like, but you have a phone. You can look it up.
What about cap? Has he ever said, that's cap?
That's cap. That's a lie.
It's a lie. My son says it all the time. I'm like, that's cap.
But I don't understand where the origin. It's got to have some sort of origin.
Yeah, it does. Everything's got an origin. I got more for you. This is one of my favorite things to do is to research.
Gift horse in the mouth.
Gift horse in the mouth. I have no idea, but
I do.
Okay, what is it? Oh,
when you
teach me.
When you would be given a horse, if you ever looked at the teeth, that shows the quality of the horse.
Right.
That was derogatory to the person who gave you the gift.
Interesting.
So don't like if a person gave you a pair of earrings
and you're looking at
and you looked at them and graded them, that would be like
rude.
Would almost be
It'd be like rude. Yeah, like
exactly.
thank you. You look at a gift horse, thank you for the horse, and you're immediately like,
I want to check what
check the
quality
teeth
it
to
is.
make sure you gave me a good
Never
gift.
look
That's
a gift
rude.
horse in the mouth.
I like that.
Yeah.
How about that? How
Okay.
about you ever heard of somebody who's on the ball? That guy's on the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got an origin too. So right around turn of the century, there was some train accidents because of a lack of like good timing on, trains going in opposite directions on the same track, generally not a good thing. Well, there was a company that made a watch called the Ball Company. And if you had a watch that was from the Ball Company and it was a quality watch and you had timed the trains based on your watch, you're on the ball. And that on the Ball Company, I learned this at the San Diego Air Show because some watch guy was selling watches and he was marketing the Ball watch.
Really?
And he told me the story and I was like, I don't believe you. And I looked on the internet and I was like, no, that's actually
That's the
true.
truth.
That's the actual truth. He's on the ball.
So what's this? You
Okay.
have a saying. You
So,
have a saying.
What's my saying?
Or no, there
This
was a
has
saying.
nothing to do with the next item.
How did you go to that place?
We were
then?
I asked you if you wanted a light moment. So we're talking about some light things.
I thought the artifact.
No,
Do you call these artifacts, by the way?
I do. These
You
could
do.
be called artifacts. They could
I just
be
want to
called-
do this one again.
Yeah.
So if they're looking at me, hey, there we go. I just want to do that.
And you can there's a picture I gave you. You can bring that up if you want to see a close up.
Changing the world. It's right there.
Yeah, and guess what? You can Google these. You can Google the story of Clay Perkins. It's a great read.
That's amazing, man.
You should really Google it. No need to like post a link or anything. Just Google it. Crazy. Next item. This is a personal one for me because as I learned today at lunch, it is as significant as the Hiroshima bomb fuses. Clay told me so. But so about 15 years ago, maybe. I'm sorry, I'm sort of fuzzy on the details. I shouldn't be. But I was approached by a family to purchase the following artifact. So at the end of World War II, we did something different. The Russians at the end of World War II wanted to line up all the senior Nazis against a wall and just shoot them. That was swift justice. Let's execute the war criminals that started the war. We'll add another 20,000 to the list. Remember, Stalin loved purges. He killed millions of his own people in the 30s. That was the way we did things back then. If you lose, you die, right? Well, we decided we were going to do something different. We were going to hold them responsible personally for their personal actions in a trial. And that was the Nuremberg trial. So it wasn't just that we took a bunch of Nazis, and we did. And Hitler, of course, missed the boat. He committed suicide May 30th. I should know this, but let me just move I'm super embarrassed.
How did he do it? Did he did it with he shot himself, right?
He shot himself, yeah.
But did his lady take a pill?
Well, the word is they both took a pill, a
And then-
cyanide capsule, basically. They
Okay.
bit down on a cyanide capsule, and then he shot her and himself immediately.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah. So that was April 30th. Hitler commits suicide. 7 days later.
How quickly, when you do a cyanide tablet in those days, would the person die?
I don't know. And I think it's probably the same as today, because the cyanide uses, it basically, I believe cyanide attacks your central nervous system and you don't breathe, and it just literally shuts
Just
you
boom.
down. Yeah, boom.
Okay.
In fact, cyanide, the gas cyanide was used in the concentration camps to kill Jews, which, if you think about it, is sort of a little bit of irony, Anyway, Hitler was losing the war. He knew it was over, and he killed himself. And then 8 days later, the Germans surrender immediately. They're like, and most of the Germans wanted to surrender. It's like, oh, thank God Hitler's dead. Let's call the Allies, And and then Hermann Goering was arrested. He surrendered on a road just not that far after. And you can bring the Hermann Goering picture up. I got some interesting Hermann Goering
he was
pictures.
the guy by himself.
Was
he this guy?
Yeah, that's Hermann Goering, but
Okay.
leave that one up.
Okay,
That's
I'll leave
Hermann
that.
Goering. Hermann Goering was the commander of the Luftwaffe, the Air Force, and he was and we're just sort of getting into the item. And he was also Hitler's number 2 at a time. So he was basically the guy who was going to be in charge if Hitler wasn't in charge. In fact, at the very end of the war, Hermann Goering, and I think last podcast I asked you who Hermann Goering was, and you're like, I have no idea. Which is actually why I love you, because you literally say that, and there's no there's no shame. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't know who Hermann Goering? Listen to me saying I don't know who Vidal Sassoon is.
Yeah.
Even I know who Vidal Sassoon is.
It's just that's the part that's so cool about this and sitting down with you, is because I get to, I was fascinated with history as a
Mhm.
kid. I was fascinated with it, but I didn't go as deep into it. And now, as a 50-year-old man, I look at it and I'm like, this part, it entrances me.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
It
And
really
guess
does.
what? Everybody loves history, even if everybody's a history nerd, even if they won't admit it.
Well, you're probably not going to be able to go into the psyche of this guy, but Hermann Goering,
The
that
guy's
we're
a
talking about.
guy's a very interesting person. I mean,
Okay.
you can read books on this guy. I mean, he was a World War I war hero. I mean,
Yeah.
truly, and very, very early supporter of the Nazis, and ended up being Hitler's number 2.
So why wouldn't he, when Hitler killed himself, why wouldn't Goering just, be the successor and then just step in? He was
Well, here's the story. If you dig deeper,
There
so
we go.
Hitler's stuck in the bunker in Berlin. He's lost contact with most people. Goering's not in Berlin, and he sends a telegram to Hitler going, "Okay, if you don't reply to me, it means you've lost your ability to lead. In other words, you're either dead, you're captured, you're cut off. I will take over for you. I'm sure that's what you want." So that's what's happening. And then one of Hitler's people, Martin Bormann, whispered in Hitler's ear, "Goering is trying to take over." And Hitler threw a fit, and he ordered Goering stripped of all titles. He ordered that he would be arrested by the SS and killed. Well, the SS decided they weren't going to do it. They're not going to. They could have arrested him and killed him, and they didn't. And then Hitler committed suicide. The war was over, and Goering, who saw himself as the heir apparent, proceeded to pack all of his bags and surrender to the Allies. Now, Goering thought that he was going to be a big player in post-war Germany. And he thought, listen, I'm going to be a uniting figure. I'm going to help fight the who better? Would you like me, or do you want the communists? Do you want Stalin? Do you want the Soviets? And it took America like 5 minutes to go. You are a war criminal. We're going to arrest you. So next picture. That's
let's see.
Hermann Goering
Okay,
during
that's
the
him.
war.
And then this is this one.
There he is, Mr. Depressed in Nuremberg. Okay. They went from.
Hold on. Let's take a look at that. So this he's very depressed there.
Oh, yeah.
By
the way,
let me go back to this one.
when he was arrested, he was a drug addict too. He had a wound,
What kind of drug?
morphine. He was addicted to morphine. He was a fat morphine addict.
Because this looks like a different dude.
He lost like 30 pounds, got off morphine, and became a different. He was very smart and
Yeah.
totally different looking guy. And he was
So-
the chief. He was the chief. We talk about the war. We're going to get back to the war crime tribunal in a moment.
That was
but
the
Nuremberg trials.
Yeah.
He was the chief defendant. He was the number one guy. Now they had.
Which one was he looking like? Was he looking like this? This was
This
he
is
looking
him
like
at
that?
the. This is him at the trial.
That's him at the trial.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
got
to
it,
go
got it.
from being like one of the richest guys in the world from stealing. We can go into that, but he was an art fiend and he loved jewels and everything. He used to wear like makeup. The guy was a little bit strange. He was maybe a lunatic, but I mean, you had I think it was 23. There was Hermann Goering. They took everyone they could find who was a top Nazi and they arrested them and brought them into Nuremberg and said, we're going to hold you personally responsible for the crimes that have been committed by you during the Third Reich. And there were 4 crimes: conspiracy to commit the crimes.
Got it.
There were crimes against peace. So they're now actually charging these government leaders with crimes against peace, aggressive war crimes, and crimes against humanity. These are terms that have never been discussed before, ever in history. And crimes against humanity, I discovered this. The phrase crimes against humanity goes back to the 1850s in the United States. They referred to slavery as crimes against humanity. And in the 1860 Republican platform, they talked about the slave trade as a crime against humanity. Well, now it's a real thing. You didn't just commit a crime to the people you killed. You committed a crime somehow against humanity.
Wow.
So much bigger. And they took all of the senior Nazis that were still alive. Hitler was gone. Martin Bormann, as I talked to, he was missing. They actually condemned him to death in absentia. They later found out that he was dead anyway. Let's see, who else wasn't there? Heinrich Himmler, who was the commander of the SS. He was captured and took a cyanide pill. He was dead. And they had another SS senior officer, Carlton Brunner, who stood up for the SS basically. And remember, these defendants: Hermann Goering, sentenced to death; Ribbentrop, who was the foreign minister. He was a government foreign minister, so basically like a diplomat. Death. That's like taking Madeleine Albright and sending her to death. Keitel, these were the chief military officers. Death. Rosenberg, who was just an ideologue, party ideologue. Death. Hans Frank, who was the governor general of Poland. Well, a lot of bad things happened in Poland. Most of the death camps were death. They sentenced all these people to death. Some of them got life.
So when they get life in the Nuremberg trials, where do they put them in prison? Because that's being convicted by the world, or what was it? It wasn't.
No, there was basically there were 4 judges at the tribunal.
Okay.
There was a U.S. judge, there was a Russian judge, a Soviet judge, an English judge, and a French judge.
So where do they put them in prison then?
Landsberg prison, or Spandau prison. Excuse me. Spandau prison was where they held the prisoners who did receive a life sentence or a less than life sentence, and there were some that did. Some were not adjudicated as warning the death penalty. But Hermann Goering actually did get the death penalty, and he was going to be the number 1 guy hung. This took about a year. Go to the third picture.
Third picture. So,
Goering?
I know what this one is.
Yeah, that's Goering. So hours before his execution, he took a cyanide pill and escaped the executioner.
Let me ask you this. Was Germany one of the only countries that it was common? It seems like it was common to have cyanide pills.
It sort of does seem common. It's like everybody has a cyanide pill, right?
Was that common for our special forces? And as far as
I don't know, but I do know that certain. I don't know, but I've read histories and stories that death pills, probably cyanide's the easiest way to do it. Probably are things that like the CIA issued / issue. Wasn't in the CIA, don't know. Wink.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think cyanide's a pretty easy way to end it. And you can conceal a small pill in your mouth.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't know to this day how Hermann Goering got the cyanide pill, but he was convinced that he was determined to escape the hangman's noose, because being hung, that is not considered to be a dignified way of being executed. A lot of these guys wanted to be shot, and they wouldn't. They're like, no, we're going to string you up
How did they choose that? How did they choose that?
In a gymnasium, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, they literally. I mean, this was.
Was the public allowed to come in?
No
and see
public.
this?
No, this was private. It wasn't filmed. There's photos of each person who was executed after their death.
Did they choose the hanging because it signified something?
Yeah, it's the
most demeaning.
It's demeaning. You think, oh, I'm dying. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, being hung is not a. I guess as executions go, it's not a dignified way to die. If you're a military person, you want to get shot. So anyway, we held people responsible for their actions personally in the Nazi regime. And that was the first. And, we can talk a minute later how that played out later in history. I mean, fast forward a second to the capture of Saddam Hussein. We captured him. He was put on trial. He was sentenced, and he was executed. It's not just we find him, we kill him. We killed bin Laden, would have captured him, I'm sure, and put him on trial. It just didn't work out that way. Mm-hmm. And there's lots of other world leaders who are in jail. Remember Manuel Noriega?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in jail in Miami. I don't know if he's still alive, but he was the dictator of Nicaragua, and we just captured him, put him on trial, and put him in jail.
Did we put him on trial here in America?
Yeah, I think it was Miami.
Was there multiple countries that were a part of that?
I think it was just we just did it. I mean, America, we can do that kind of stuff, right? We just did it in Venezuela.
So if you did the Nuremberg trials had 4, right? 4 judges.
4 judges, because we were the allies, so we had to do this all together.
Doesn't it cause a challenge? Because if there's 4, they could be split 2 and 2.
Could have been. Now, remember, the Russians wanted to kill everybody, so they were all guilty.
So that goes down to 3.
Yeah.
And then, you take England, which was, I mean, pretty much they got decimated too. Yeah.
Well, how about this one? Here's a guy, before we talk about the artifact. Yeah. Albert Speer was the armaments minister. He was Hitler's architect in the beginning of the Third Reich. And he was the armaments minister. So he was responsible for a lot of not good things. And he got 20 years. He's one of the only defendants who actually took moral responsibility for what he did. He did plea not guilty, but he also was on stand-up, very critical of the Hitler regime, took responsibility for his personal behavior, and received 20 years. But okay, so let's talk about the item.
Yeah.
This is really neat. So 15 years ago, I was contacted by the family of a person whose name is Paul Joosten, Joosten. He was eventually, and here's his little ID card from Nuremberg. Take a look at it.
Let me see this.
Yeah, he was an officer in the court.
He was an officer.
He was an employee of the court.
Got it.
He eventually became the Secretary General, or the General Secretary of the court, and his role was to literally document everything. So his responsibility was to document the very first time that they put world leaders on trial for their actions and everything. So a letter came into Nuremberg, he got it. He was responsible for collating the transcripts, photographs, everything. So what happened at Nuremberg, we know because of what this guy did. And when he left, they gave him, and this little plaque here reads, and you can bring this picture up if you want.
I'll do it. Let's see. I think it's this one.
International Military Tribunal, Nuremberg, Germany, 1945-1946. U.S., France, Great Britain, USSR versus Hermann Goering et al. This was the gavel that they used to pronounce justice on the war criminals in Nuremberg. So in essence, this gavel, and put it in your hand, is what ended the war finally in Europe and wrote the final chapter. When they sentenced Hermann Goering to death, bam, that gavel came down. That's exactly what he heard. When they sentenced Albert Speer to 20 years in life, that's what they heard. When they sentenced Joachim von Ribbentrop to death, that's what they heard. And then he got that gavel. Now, were there other gavels? Probably so, because I can imagine there's times where they're banging the friggin' gavel and it breaks, right? It's a piece of wood. But this is the only surviving gavel, and it was used to bring justice to people who needed justice.
Wow.
And so that is, in Clay's words today at lunch, as significant as the bomb fuses.
Wow.
So because you look at this and you're like, this was the instrument of justice in a little bit of a
Is there
poetic way. It's not actually what they use. If you talk about the noose, that's probably important too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the gavel that they used to bring justice.
Hit it, say it again.
That
There we
sound.
go. There we go.
Just banging it down.
Yeah. Show it up there.
There you go. And it's just a piece of wood. But what does it represent? It represents all the things we just talked about. Now, I've told you more than you knew about the Nuremberg trials. Ask me, what does this mean to you?
I mean,
Take it in your hand.
to sit there here and to feel this is the end of an era. I mean, I couldn't imagine what it would feel like for a Holocaust survivor to know that was the sound, like this made the sound that stopped. I mean, not to say that it's going to take away any of the pain or the challenges that they went through or the things that they, that they experienced, but that was the thing that brought justice to the people that needed it the most. That's unbelievable, man.
And here's the thing. So many perpetrators received no justice. In other words, they escaped justice. You get like Joseph Mengele, the white angel of death from Auschwitz, the guy, the scientist the doctor who experimented on twins. You can't think of a more evil human being, a psychopath, a sociopath, all wrapped up in one. He died in a swimming accident in Paraguay in the 1970s. Is that fair? No. But they did something. And we had other trials. We had Dachau trials where we tried a lot of the Dachau guards and whatnot. And they had, the Polish were great. They executed a lot of war criminals from the death camps. But so many butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers who were equally responsible. Who poured the Zyklon B canister with the cyanide into the gas chambers? It's probably some lance corporal, some normal dude whose just job is to pour the thing in and do it again. Where did he go? Who knows? But this was symbolic. We took the top guys and held them responsible to the best way we could.
Yeah.
And in doing so, we started a whole new tradition of this is what we do. You can think about, we did the same thing in Japan. We did Saddam Hussein, Manuel Noriega, remember Slobodan Milosevic from Serbia. We do this now, and it's fair and it's right to do it. We don't just put you up against a wall and shoot you, because then we're as bad as you are. Not really, but it makes a statement.
Does it happen very often with you and Clay that you can, like Clay was taken back? This is not Clay's.
No,
am I correct?
This belongs. Okay, so this
belongs
I bought this in partnership with a good friend of mine, and he runs a little. When I say not so little, he has a museum in Sereno Valley that's not open to the public, but he does tours with kids and wonderful guy. His name's Chuck. And we bought this in partnership together, and I wanted it to be in his museum. And then it needed to stay in the museum. And I thought to myself, well, my money's tied up in the gavel. I let him buy me out. So he owns this now, and it's in the museum. But he was so gracious to let me borrow it.
Yeah.
And it's like.
And Clay, when you showed Clay this, Clay was taken back. Now,
literally.
Clay never doesn't get taken back on stuff.
No, and he'd never seen this before. And he's like, that's amazing. It's the most important thing I've ever seen. I'm like, wait, Clay, stop. You own the bomb fuses. he's like, this is the most important thing. He said this was the bomb fuses of the European theater.
Yeah.
And just think about this for a second. I might get the number wrong, but it's like 60 million if you think about the numbers of people who died in World War II. And this weren't Americans. As Americans, we did not suffer nearly as much as the European countries. Between 1939 and 1945, you could say, and my math isn't perfect here, 60 million. Those are civilians. These is Russians, Germans, everybody who fought in the war in Europe. 60 million people died. Now, what does 60 million look like to you, Kelly? Can you think of 60 million anything?
No.
No, your brain's not capable of picturing that number. Why? Because, well, you want to think about 3 or 6 because that's the kind of like people who are going to be attacking you in the forest, you know. So
well, I'm even going
smaller
through,
numbers.
I'm going through my head because, you know, you take a stack of $10,000, which is 100 hundreds. And so you take that stack.
Right.
And then you do.
I'm listening, but I'm actually bringing my calculator up.
We got 10,000 of that. We got 10 of those makes 100,000.
Yep.
We've got 100 of those that make $1 million. And then we've got 60 stacks of what I just said, which would make 60 million. That's, I mean, it's.
Well, okay. So here's the number I like to use. And again, my numbers are a little off, so you can do the math and I'm not going to bother. But I said this on many occasions. 60 million, you can't figure it out. I mean, how many people are at the Super Bowl? I don't know, but there's a whole stadium, right?
Yeah, it's about like 70 to 100,000.
70 to 100,000. Well, 60 million people dead in Europe because of World War II.
That would be 600 Super Bowl stadiums.
Or how about this one? Yeah, I even can't even think of that. But how about this one? Let's just say that's like every day for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for 5 years. So every hour of every day for 6 years, it's like lining 1,000 people up. Do the math. 1,000 people up, shooting them, and then doing it again every hour for 24 hours for 7 days a week for 5 years. You can think about that. 1,000 people you can probably picture, right?
Yeah,
well, that's what happened in World War II. That's the kind of number. And I mean, it could be 800, you know, but it's that kind of number that you can get your head around in 6 years. That's 1,000 people an hour forever for 6 years nonstop. And this gavel pronounced judgment on the people responsible for that. Now, that's whitewashing history a little bit because the Russians were no saints either, and they're sitting here at the trial as judge when Stalin purged millions of people in the 30s through executions and famines, and, you know, he was no saint either. So you got to think about that as well, but it doesn't change this at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's unbelievable. I didn't think you were going to be able to top. I mean, not that you're topping one or the other, but I mean, we start out with the fuses. I got a fuse that, I mean, literally the first nuclear bomb, this doesn't get taken out this doesn't get taken out.
And put in with the red one.
And put in with the red one, then the world is different. We've got World War II coming to justice, the people coming to justice, a gavel that, when it rang,
symbolically ended the war, brought justice for millions of people.
Okay. You got one more.
We got one more.
You got one more.
This one's not as, this truly, really, maybe I should have started with this one. This is not as, like world changing. This is not Copernicus. This is not those things. This is important for a different reason.
Okay.
Because it really highlights that, for me, that the kinds of things we argue about today have origins that go way, way back. You know, so you talk about gun control, for example. Everybody's got an opinion. I'm not here to talk about it. I mean, you probably can guess my opinion. And it's very well informed based upon history. So I think my opinion's better than most people's.
Okay.
But that's not a new topic. And everybody thinks it's a new topic. There's really no new topics. There's just like new technologies, right? But we talked about the last... wait, are you ready for a break? You want to talk about like some other like etymology thing before we get into this? Okay, let's go right in. We'll go right in.
Do you have an etymology?
I probably think of one. I love them. I'll come up with something. But
do you have any that you could think of?
Yeah, let's see. How about eavesdropping? Even what is the eavesdrop?
Was that hanging from the eaves and
That's
looking over
it.
the
People
top?
think it's eavesdrop. It's eavesdrop. Yeah,
Eavesdrop.
basically, if you like hung out outside a window under the eaves, you could
Ah.
listen in to what people were talking about inside the house. So that's eavesdropping.
Let me ask you this: with World War II, what was the with?
That is totally random, by the way. It has nothing to do
is.
with anything we talk about.
Yeah, which I think is good. But when we go back to, I want to rewind for a second when you were talking about the butchers, the bakers, the candlestick makers
Yep.
that ended up enforcing this. I mean, heinous things. What was the story that was being told to them to get them to do things that they wouldn't those people didn't wake up saying, I'm going to be
I hate people.
horribly cruel to
Yeah,
people.
I hate people. Yeah.
What was the story?
Well, let me tell you what. That's a good question. Before we go on, here's a
Yeah.
letter, and this is, I think,
Do
part
we
of
have
it.
do we have that one?
No,
Or do
you
we have
don't.
the- oh, we
But this
don't?
is
Okay.
so. This is a letter written to the Secretary General.
Yeah.
Because remember, he was responsible for receiving
What
everything.
year was this written?
1945.
Is this the actual
This is the
handwriting?
actual letter, because when I
Oh,
bought the
shit.
gavel, I bought all of his documentation. It was a massive stack of stuff that he had, all of his ID cards, photographs, as well as all these letters he got sent.
So what year was this?
1945.
1945. This
Yeah.
is the from the Nuremberg trials.
This is a letter that was sent to him. You dirty dude. It's hard to read. You dirty Jew dogs. You are working for world Jew communist domination. We fought 2 world wars for the Jew gangsters. The Nazi Germans had the right to kill these communist Jew rats. And this guy's just literally writing a letter to the Nuremberg trials. And he just keeps going on. Everybody, they take the country away from them. We fought 2 world wars to liberate the small nations. And now you give all this country to the Jew gangsters. This is a hate letter to this guy. And then he, by the way, whoever wrote this wasn't very smart. He refers to the president, F.D. Rosenfeld. It was Roosevelt, dude. I mean, you know what? If you've lost any credibility here, you lost me, you dirty Jew dogs. I am of Jewish descent, by the way, so I'm not laughing at this.
I
But
understand.
yeah, anti-Semitism has been around for 3,000 years. You go back into the Bible. I mean, the Jews have been blamed for everything.
Yeah.
And it's a very easy, look, let's blame the Jews. And there's historical context for why Hitler hated the Jews. It wasn't.
Why is that?
He blamed the Jewish conspiracy for the end of World War I going badly for the Germans. And so this was something, he was a young man, very, very passionate, very angry. And that was his scapegoat. He said the Jews are responsible for why Germany has lost its position as a world power, and why they lost the war. The Jews sold us out. And that was one of his main themes in Mein Kampf, My Struggle, the book he wrote while he was in prison. Hitler went to prison, by the way, for trying to take over Germany. And while he was in prison, that's when he wrote Mein Kampf. Anyway, a lot of these kids were brainwashed, and that's not really the reason, though, that they did what they did, in my opinion. You asked this question, well, how do they do this? It's not, in my opinion, because they were anti-Semitic. Yeah, they were brainwashed to hate Jews, but that doesn't mean you go kill people, right? That doesn't mean you take women and children into a forest and shoot them and then do it again and again and again for days. By the way, did you know that the reason they came up with the idea for the gas chambers is that shooting people in the forest was too traumatic for the executioners? I mean, just makes your blood boil.
Yeah.
These guys, in my opinion, were doing what they were doing because there was social pressure to do it. They didn't want to disappoint their buddy next door, who, if they didn't do it, was going to have to do it. And so they had this pressure and this who does stuff just because their friends are doing it?
So many
We
people.
do it today.
So many people.
I mean, my son does that. I
Yeah.
did it because my friends did it. Well, you're not killing people in a forest, but the concept's the same.
Yeah.
So we could go in a whole hour-long discussion about this.
Mhm.
But you asked the question, that's my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not anti-Semitism. It's this human,
Yeah.
doesn't excuse what they did.
Absolutely not.
So back to gun
Okay.
control. I said earlier, one of the reasons I like what I'm about to show you is that it shows that the things we talk about are nothing new. The Chinese invented gunpowder, we talked about last time, in like 900, 1,000. And wow, that's a cool thing, until the government realized, well, wait a minute. People with guns can do stuff, right? And we're no longer like, if everybody's got guns, this is not a good thing. The Chinese had regulations. We don't see any surviving, but we know about them based upon things people during the period wrote about the fact that, government was restricting private manufacture of gunpowder weapons and things. But we don't have any record of that. We just know from what people have written about that happening in China. I mean, they're talking about people who wrote in the 12th century, so it's not like they were like, today writing about it. So there's some good evidence for that. Then in 1328, there was something called the Statute of Northampton. Edward III, he prohibited people appearing in public and in certain places carrying weapons. Yeah, it's like, okay, he's like, okay, we're going to control what you do with these great things that you've got. You can't go to court with one. You can't go to a fair with one.
What year was this?
1326.
Okay.
And that's actually spot on. Okay. But that was what you do with weapons.
When was the Old West days?
The 1800s. And by the way, there was gun control in the 1800s, but this is...
that was the Wild West.
Wild
days?
West. It wasn't so wild. You come into certain towns, you had to turn your weapons into the sheriff.
Got it. Okay.
So, excuse me. Here we go. The cough still exists.
Take a drink, man.
Sure. I'll do that.
Does this cup have a significance?
Yeah. This is a Yeti cup. So yes, it does have significance.
No, but I mean, you've got.
Oh yeah.
What's the?
So that's my Marine Corps Eagle Globe and Anchor.
Okay.
I got a couple Yeti cups I love. This one, and my son gave me one for my birthday. That had Donald Trump on it.
Okay.
It says, "You're the greatest dad, the best dad ever. No dad better. You're wonderful. I love you." That actually sounded pretty good, didn't it? But it's like, anyway. So no, this is my drink, and I'm not going to tell you what's in it. But,
okay, I'm sure I can tell what's in it. So you said gun control.
Nothing bad's in it. I'm just saying.
I know. It's probably Fanta.
Yeah, probably.
You were offended by Fanta too when you drank it for the
I've
first
told
time.
people about Fanta, and they're like, "I can't believe we have this in our store." I'm like, "Oh, come on! It's not like the Nazis invented Fanta. There was a company in Germany that invented Fanta. This is not a Nazi soda. Okay, get over it."
Is it true that there's manufacturers that we know of that manufactured things that were in the death camps?
Yes, IBM was responsible for creating punch card systems that monitored and basically recorded inmate registration. IBM. I mean, let's do another one. Let's do another podcast only on this.
Okay, one more. Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, Mercedes-Benz. Porsche. Ferdinand Porsche invented, he was building tank engines for the Nazis. I mean,
what about Mercedes? What were they?
Same thing. Mercedes, Audi, all these companies had a play in building the weaponry of war in Germany.
What about the gas chambers?
How about this one? Interesting. Krupp, Thyssen. You ever heard of these names? If you look on an elevator, a lot of times Krupp, Thyssen. Guess interestingly enough, Krupp played games. He played ball with the Nazis. Thyssen didn't and went to a concentration camp. So these are two industrial leaders. Thyssen said no way and went to a concentration camp. Not as a Jew. He was imprisoned until the end of the war. Krupp was like, yeah, let's build. Krupp was the steel mill of the German Reich, basically. So yeah, a lot of companies alive today, surviving today, were full-fledged supporters of the German war economy. Yeah, okay. And we do another one of those. Let's do that. We'll do it. We'll take it like step by step.
But we're going.
How about Bayer Aspirin, IG Farben, the company that built that created Zyklon B that they poured in the gas chamber thing? I mean, yeah, there's a connection.
That was from Bayer.
No, Bayer Aspirin is owned. I can't tell you that I'm 100% on this, but there's a connection between IG Farben, the company that created the gas chamber particles that were Zyklon B, and later Bayer Aspirin. So yeah, a lot of companies, a lot of companies that are not 100% clean.
I love how we can go down rabbit holes.
No, we can totally do it. Okay, so back to gun control. And you will not find this on the internet. You will not find this on the internet. And this is a book from
Your hands
through-
are shaking while
No,
you're
it's
touching
just, I'm just tired, but let's see. This is 15. Excuse me. I'm going to find it right here. Right. It's over
Is
here.
it this one?
It's over here on the floor.
Okay. I've got the picture of this
This
one,
is
I think.
Henry VIII's book on gun laws.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this is 15.
Is
I
this
wanna
the
tell
one?
you.
Look at this. Is that the one?
That's it. That's the
Okay.
actual offending paragraph that we're going to talk about in a second. So
This is Henry V.
1543.
This is a book from 1543.
This is actually a book from Henry VIII. This is a printing of of regulations that were passed by Henry VIII.
In 1543.
1543. Yeah. And by the way, there's rules on tennis here in this booklet. I mean, it's crazy. There's lots of different rules.
Is it on pickleball in gated communities and how they should?
You know,
they outlawed it in our community here in
not?
Carlsbad because of the sound ordinance. And then they came out and they brought out a decibel meter, and they said it couldn't go over a certain amount, Craig. But dribbling a basketball was over it.
I think they're just jealous that they're not good at pickleball.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
My wife plays pickleball. She's awesome. I am okay, but I have a shoulder injury, and so I can't play pickleball. I think that's a blessing.
Yeah.
You know?
Because people get so serious
Do you
about it.
do you get annoyed when they're, I play pickleball? I'm like, oh really? Oh, thank you so much for telling me.
I don't consider
Are you
it-
also a vegetarian?
I don't consider it a sport.
How do you know someone plays pickleball? Because they'll tell you.
Exactly.
Okay, so Henry VIII, this book has lots of things going on in it, but in it, he has this thing where he says, wherefore, and I could read it in the Old English.
Okay.
I'm going to read it. An acti concerning anyway, I'm sorry, the English. Oh, English does not sound like English from the 1600s.
It doesn't.
But it says, wherefore it be ordered and enacted by action of this present Parliament, that no manner of person from henceforth shoot any crossbow or handgun upon pain of forfeiture of the same bow or gun, unless he or his wife have lands and tenements, meaning unless you've got money, fees, annuities, or other profits to the yearly value of this many pounds.
How much?
CC pounds. Let's see. How much money do you have to have? It just says CC. I don't know what CC means. Can't be a ton. But here's, in my research, the earliest.
Did you look up CC? Is that a amount? I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up. What's CC in like Roman numerals?
What'd you say? CC pounds?
Yeah, let's see how much it is. Wait, hold on a second. It's CC pounds. This is sort of anticlimactic compared to the first two things, but it illustrates the thing I just said.
It's a book that's from 1543. That's not anticlimactic.
Didn't change the world.
CCs. Let's see.
How much money do you have to have
It's
in
cubic centimeters. It says, but that doesn't make any sense.
Let's figure this out. How much money do you have to have?
CC in
Call Clay Perkins.
British.
Yeah.
Can you?
No, he's probably asleep. Let's just say that Henry VIII didn't want poor people having guns.
Okay.
That's pretty much what this is.
Here's this. A CC is a symbol, cloud chat. So how much lower value? A CC is 0.1189 pounds. So, but it translated into today's world, I wonder what that would have been at that point, because this is like basically 11 cents, 12 cents.
It's got to be more than that. He's talking about lands. But here's
Okay.
the important point about this. Yes, this is an original decree from Henry VIII, and there were probably multiples printed. But here is a government leader telling a portion of society, you can't have guns.
But
And
only
that's
a portion.
a portion of society. So he's telling which members of society can have guns, which are power, and who can't. And so we today talk about gun control. You know, we argue about it, different sides. Again, I believe my opinion is much more historically informed than other people's opinion. And the Supreme Court lately has sort of affirmed my view. But this is a discussion that's been going on a lot longer than we've been alive, than our this discussion has been going on longer than anybody that you like. Do you know what your great-grandparents' name was? Great-grandfather's name.
Mamel and Grampy.
How about great-great-grandfather's? No idea, right? Gone.
And Mamel wasn't even a name. It was just like my granny or
okay,
whatever.
so look, if I got a picture of my great-great-grandmother on the wall. Somehow I don't know how it survived. I have no idea what her name is.
You don't know what her name is?
No, but
does she look like you?
No, she looks like my mom.
She does?
But is anybody going to know the name Kelly Cardenas when you have great-great-great-great? Probably not.
No.
Gone. So people have been talking about gun control far earlier than like our earliest known ancestor. So it's been happening. We talked about it happening in China.
Yeah.
In the 1100s. But this is the first written instance that I can find of gun control where they're actually saying you can't have a gun.
Now, was this one saying, I mean, basically what it was saying is if you are wealthy, you can have a gun?
Yeah, basically if you're wealthy, you can have a gun. But
why do you think that would be? I mean, I
Well,
know that's speculation.
It's total speculation, but if you want to dig a little deep into the gun control argument, I'm not going to go too deep on it, but if you look at the U.S. Constitution.
Well, I'm just talking about this place.
Oh, okay, this
15.
place.
In this place, was he saying that, because I'm just trying to understand the psyche part of it. I'm not saying that it's right, wrong, indifferent, but I'm just trying to understand from Henry V. It's
Henry VIII. He's the big fat
okay.
guy that killed. He was really popular he liked women. He married 5 women and a lot of them lost their heads.
So
remember?
Henry VIII in 1543.
Fighting against the Catholic Church because he doesn't, I mean, he's got a lot of reasons that he doesn't, people don't like him.
Yeah.
He wants the Catholic Church to bless his annulment with women and they don't want to do it. And I mean, he kills a lot of people. He sends a lot of people to the chopping block.
But I'm just trying to understand, and not to, again, to say he's right or he's wrong, but just to say in this decree, he's saying, if you're wealthy, you can have a gun. In your opinion on that place in 1543, why do you think that he was saying, was there a justification?
Okay, I have an idea. My idea that I've just come up with right now. It's brand new. So please feel free to criticize it. If you're wealthy, you're a player. If you're wealthy, you have a stake in society. You have a stake in the system. Okay? And so why would you take up arms against your government? If you've got the money, you've got the power, like Scarface, you got the women, I mean, you got everything you need. Where are you going to fight things? You can get you got your beautiful horse-drawn carriage, or today you got your Bentley. Rich people don't make a lot of noise. They don't, and that's not entirely true. Again, this is a half-baked idea.
Just at this
my
time.
My idea. And so I feel that he was okay with rich people having guns because what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're unhappy because they don't have enough horses, that they don't have enough land. They've got enough, okay? But that's not true of your lower classes. I mean, it was not a good thing to be a peasant in like the 13 or 1400s. Your life was nasty, brutish, and short. Look that up.
And if you put guns in their hands,
what can they do? Take up arms against their oppressor.
Yes.
Take up arms against their oppressor. Declaration of Independence.
Wow.
Okay, so that's one of the reasons, the main reason. People think that the Second Amendment, and this I'm going to get on my soapbox, is about personal safety and personal protection. It's not. It's about a defense of liberty against tyrants. And if you look throughout history, that's the reason that our founding fathers thought it was so important to make an amendment to our Constitution stating that the government cannot restrict our right to keep and bear arms. It was number 2, right after the important like free speech, then guns. It was number 2. It was pretty important to them. And only until 2008, in a court case called the Heller decision, did the Supreme Court finally weigh down and say, this is an individual right. Now, they said it was an individual right in this court case for reasons of personal protection. But that's not what the Second Amendment was about. It was not personal protection against criminals, personal protection against home invasion. It was protection against the government.
Wow.
If people have guns, the government cannot be tyrannical. And guess what happened in 1930s in Nazi Germany? Take it right back to the discussion. Gun control. And who did they say couldn't have guns? The Jews.
Wow.
Think about it. So again,
how long ahead of all the things happening did they make that declaration that Jews could not have guns? Was it during the time, or was it the slow burn? Was it the dimmer switch?
There was a bit of a slow burn, but at the Nuremberg laws in the 30s, they really did remove most rights that Jews had. They stripped them of citizenship. They told it was that they couldn't have certain jobs and certainly no firearms. But you want to disarm. You want to make somebody powerless. Take away their. Oh shoot! You know what?
There we go.
There's my phone.
Who's that?
I'm not answering it. Let me see. Let's put it in thing. That was. I owe you. If you drank, I'd owe you a beer. That's like a real. That's like that's like a very bad thing. So that's the. That's what I got here. Those are the 3 items.
That's amazing, man. I mean, am I allowed to touch this book?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
So this is. You can take it if you want.
No, we're good.
This is nuts, man. I mean, I'm looking at a book. I'm gonna hold it up like this. I'm gonna take this one off here too. So from 1543, Henry VIII, a decree from him, and it is the main thing in here, the gun control, or are there other things too?
There's tons of other stuff. I mean, it's funny. There's tons of other stuff in this, and I'm not kidding you. I can't read this because it's in like Old English, which is the same as like Japanese to me.
Is it Old English or is this Latin?
Ye olde English. It's English, actually.
It is.
Yeah, and there's rules on tennis. I don't know why they're passing legislation on tennis.
I mean, I can understand tennis. I'm glad they don't have pickleball in here.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, let all the pickleball people know that that's just a made up something. They just made it up.
I think it's a fun sport.
It's just big ping pong is what it is, man.
It's fun.
Yeah, I mean,
you know
it's cool.
People of no athletic ability, like myself, can play pickleball.
Exactly. That's why it's not a sport.
Yeah, well, you know what?
That's why it's not a sport.
Again, how do you know someone plays pickleball? They'll tell you.
Because they tell you. They'll tell you over
just like
and
vegetarians.
over again.
I was a vegetarian. No offense against vegetarians. I was a vegetarian for a
how
couple
long?
years. I was actually a vegetarian for a couple years until I found myself sneaking meat into my house with, so that the neighbors couldn't see. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Here's my thing with the vegetarian side. A vegetarian side, and I remember doing it, and I think I was a vegetarian for like 6 hours.
Smarter man
like
than
a
me.
couple of times. But you'll go to the store and get like Morningstar stuff that's shaped like meat.
I know. You're like,
okay, but we don't take meat and shape it like vegetables.
Bananas.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Okay. I don't know.
Well, I tell you, I did a paper in college, and again, I don't want to piss off the vegetarians because I
love me some vegetarians.
Yeah, yeah. I got these pointy teeth.
Uh-huh.
You know, I think God intended me to eat meat. Why would I not have these pointy teeth? Just saying.
Vegan stuff is really tough too. That's hard.
But
I admire it because it's the discipline.
Well, I do love. I mean, I'm very compassionate for living things, so it's not like I don't believe in any. I mean, it's like, who believes in animal cruelty? I don't believe in animal cruelty. Well, who does, Craig? Come on, it's like I don't believe in child molesting. Of course I don't. So, that was a really very random and sort of inappropriate comment. So I do apologize. Yeah. But my point is, I was saying something like, who doesn't?
I know
you're not making a stand morally. I mean,
I understand.
But
honestly, like I didn't think that you were going to be able to top. So, I mean, to have the fuses, the fuses from the first nuclear bomb.
You're going to ask how much they were. I think he paid.
I didn't. I wasn't going to ask. But you're going to tell me.
I think he paid $100 and something thousand for these two things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we ask about the gavel?
No.
Yeah,
I mean, no. It's
you
sort
brought
of recent.
it up.
I bought it.
I wasn't even going to ask. I mean, I am always curious on these things just because, again, like you were talking about, I just had a guy on today. You would have loved him. And we were talking about cars. Right. So he had a 62 Impala, convertible, super sport. Do you know how much that thing is worth right now?
I'm going to guess $100,000.
140.
Did not know that.
140.
You have an Impala.
Yes, 63.
Okay. So this document for the gun control, $1,000. That's what he paid.
Really?
Yes, that's not a lot of money. So here's what I can tell you.
But the significance.
History is available for not $1 million. So you can have things like this and they don't cost, $1,000 is not nothing.
Yeah.
But things like this are available.
Is this Clay's?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
His collection,
not everything I have is Clay's, but yeah,
his
Clay's
collection must be unreal.
because he has a burning history in important history. And, maybe one of these days, if we can develop like a field trip, we go over there and listening to him talk about how the bombs were made. I mean, he's got like in his backyard, he has a perfect replica of the little boy bomb because this is his thing. And he'll stand behind the bomb and tell you how it worked. Now, I know how the little boy bomb worked because of Clay. Very few people know how the little boy bomb worked. I know how it worked. And won't go into it now, but he's the kind of guy who teaches you these things and he likes to teach these things.
Wow.
So yeah, he's got a real eye for this. I have an eye for it. Other people that I buy and sell stuff to, they've got an eye for it. And it's crazy. I mean, you don't just have to read about it. You don't have to read about history. You can experience it.
Craig, it's tremendous. I mean, to be able to see this, and I'm just so excited for us to spend more time together. I'm excited because for everyone listening, I had no idea what Craig was bringing in today. I didn't know what you were going to bring in.
That was exciting. I was
so
happy.
But for me, I'm on my dog walk today, and I took a long walk with Ziggy, and I'm on my way back, and I'm like, I can't even imagine. And even when you come in with the Pulp Fiction briefcase with a handcuff on it.
Yeah, with Marcellus Wallace's soul.
But even when you come in with that, I still can't. I mean, there's no way I would have been able to pick out those kind of things. I just think it's amazing. So as we go along, I'm looking forward to just learning more about history and why. I mean, if you had, let's not say the world, but if you had Carlsbad High School,
mm-hmm.
and you had all of them, so it's 4,000 kids, and you had 20 seconds to let them know about why history is so important, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say that history is important, and I'm going to steal from Santayana. If you don't learn from history, you're going to do it again. That is a paraphrase. Those who do not learn from history are condemned to repeat it. It's so important. Nothing is new. Human nature has not changed. And to learn from history is to learn about yourself, to learn about what you face during the present and what you've got in store in the future. So pay attention. It matters.
Craig, you're incredible, man.
You are incredible too,
You are
Kelly.
incredible. We're going to run your commercial again, and I just want them to see. I want them to see on the outro this picture of you, but I wish you would have left it in where it said the moon landing and then had you sitting right next to it.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Will you do me a cut that way?
I will.
So I'll be able to see it?
Yeah, I will.
Sound good?
Good. Thank
All
you,
right,
Kelly.
buddy. I'll see you soon.
Peace.
Get ready to blow the dust off. This is History Hunter. History Hunter. We take history seriously, seriously fun, making history 3D, in color, connected. And now, here's your host, Craig Gottlieb.